Welcome to you, Mother Truckers. You sent us some really thought-provoking flash fiction this week, and we're going to do a pit stop into two stories, both kind of centered around this powerful idea of, well, profound sacrifice for the greater good.
That's right. Yeah, the first one, simply titled Us. It kind of throws us right into this moment of, like, accidental creation and then the heavy choices that inevitably follow. And the second, Heart of Sky,
Right.
takes a completely different tack,
Yeah.
exploring a world where sacrifice is this really deliberate act, almost diplomacy, but with these extraordinary personal consequences.
Okay, so let's dive into Us first. Yeah, imagine, you're in the lab with these two young scientists, Sarah and Ben. Sarah's the one, like, head buried in diagrams, constantly soldering, just completely consumed by the details, the
Yeah, the
equations.
focused one.
Exactly, and Ben's right there with her, hopeful, but you can feel this real anxiety because his driving force is super personal. He wants to see his deceased mother again. That immediately sets up this fascinating tension, doesn't it, between, like, scientific ambition and this very human longing.
Absolutely, yeah. Ben's desire to reconnect with his mother, it injects this powerful emotional current into their work. Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it, if maybe that personal stake might have, well, somehow influenced their approach. Or maybe their understanding of the risks involved.
Oh, interesting.
Did that hope kind of overshadow a more objective scientific perspective, perhaps?
That's a really great point. And, all that hope and hard work, it culminates in this moment where they finally activate their machine. But instead of the comforting reunion Ben's hoping for, they rip open this tear in reality. And what they see isn't his mother, but this just
Yeah.
overwhelming panorama of faces, like countless others from who knows how many different worlds. It's that classic sci-fi multiverse idea, but bam, instantly real and, frankly, terrifying. What was your, like, initial reaction to that sudden flip?
Well, what's really striking is the speed,
Yeah.
the speed at which the whole situation just deteriorates. It's not just like passively looking at other realities. These realities start to bleed through.
Yeah.
They're impacting their own world in this really tangible, destructive way. Buildings warp, the very fabric of, their existence starts to unravel. It just immediately jacks up the stakes.
Yeah.
This isn't just a scientific curiosity gone wrong. It's an existential threat on a scale they couldn't possibly have imagined.
Exactly. It goes from this potential breakthrough moment to just utter chaos in what feels like seconds. And facing this multiversal meltdown, Sarah has this flash of clarity. She understands the machine's becoming unstable, and its collapse won't just be like, here, it'll have catastrophic consequences across all these realities. It's a weight of responsibility. Gosh, no one should ever have to bear. What do you think goes through someone's mind in that instant?
Well, it's got to be a moment of just profound decision, right? Driven by maybe an instinctive understanding of the interconnectedness of it all. Sarah realizes her individual life is, well, secondary to the survival of countless others.
Yeah.
And the story really highlights the sensory details of her action, the searing energy, sure, but also that final smile and the feeling of warmth. It's just a sense of purpose, maybe even like acceptance in that final act. Makes you wonder if she saw something in that moment, a glimpse of the potential saved by her choice.
It's such a powerful image. And then, poof, the world around Ben seems to stabilize. The machine's still there, humming away, but Sarah is gone, completely vanished. What's even more unsettling, though, is that Ben can no longer grasp the science behind what they did.
Right.
The diagrams, the equations, it's all just like gibberish to him now. It's as if the very understanding of their breakthrough was somehow tied to Sarah herself. What implications do you see in that?
It definitely suggests that sometimes, groundbreaking discoveries are deeply intertwined with the individual, the mind that makes them. Sarah's insight, her unique way of understanding the universe, might have been the actual key that unlocked this tech.
Right, like only she could hold it all together.
Exactly. So her disappearance leaves this void, not just in Ben's life, obviously, but in humanity's potential understanding of reality itself.
Yeah.
It really raises questions about the nature of knowledge and how much of it is like collective versus purely individual genius.
And then comes this almost unbelievable moment. Ben's mother is back. Not some, weird interdimensional echo, but his mother exactly as he remembers her. It's this confirmation that their world, at least, has been restored. But it comes at this devastating personal cost. Sarah is completely erased. Gone. It's such a strange kind of victory, isn't it? The multiverse survives, but a hero is lost. And her sacrifice is almost immediately forgotten, or at least incomprehensible, by the one person who should remember her most.
The emotional weight of that moment is just immense. Yeah. Ben gets what he initially wanted, the return of his mother, but it's under the shadow of Sarah's complete obliteration. He's left with this bittersweet reality, a life he longed for, now forever tinged with the profound loss of his partner and, crucially, the inability to even comprehend the enormity of her sacrifice. Did he ever, fully grasp the scope of what they were doing, or was he just solely focused on his personal goal the whole time?
That really leads us right to the end of Us, where Ben stands under the night sky making this vow, to dedicate his life to understanding and rebuilding, to ensuring that future interdimensional travel, if it ever becomes possible again, is safe. He's carrying this immense burden of loss and responsibility even as Sarah's memory itself begins to fade. It's a really powerful and poignant conclusion. What lasting impression did Sarah's sacrifice leave on you?
Well, it absolutely highlights the ultimate form of altruism, sacrificing not just your life, but your very existence, your memory, for the sake of others. Sarah's choice, even though it erases her from the present, fundamentally shapes Ben's future and, the potential future of interdimensional exploration. It makes you consider the unseen sacrifices that might, just maybe, underpin the reality we inhabit.
Okay, wow. So we go from that high-stakes, accidental tearing of reality to something totally different with our second flash fiction story, Heart of Sky. Here we're in a world where peace between humans and dragons hinges on a single human sacrifice. Talk about a starkly different setup, but with equally profound consequences. What were your initial thoughts on this premise?
Yeah, the shift in context is really dramatic. Instead of, unintended consequences, we have this deliberate ritualistic act aimed at achieving a very specific outcome, lasting peace between two powerful species.
Right.
Introducing Eli, the chosen individual, standing there on the precipice before this gathering of dragons, it immediately establishes the gravity of the situation. And the lifelong preparation for this moment, it just underscores its cultural and historical significance for their village.
Absolutely. The weight of an entire village's hope, it's all resting on Eli's shoulders. And then you have this incredibly evocative and, somewhat mysterious pronouncement from the elder. Your heart is your sacrifice, as well as your strength. It's one of those lines that really makes you pause and think, okay, what kind of sacrifice is truly being asked for here? What did that phrase suggest to you?
That line, it really hinted a transformation that goes way beyond just the physical. It suggests that Eli's inner being, their essence, their very identity, that's part of the exchange.
Wow.
It's not just about giving a life, it's about offering something deeper, something intrinsic to who Eli is. This adds this whole layer of profound mystery to the act itself.
And then Eli takes that courageous leap towards the dragon matriarch. It's just a moment of incredible bravery, isn't it? Facing the unknown with such conviction. What do you imagine was going through Eli's mind in that moment of surrender?
Oh, there must have been this intense mixture of fear, obviously, but also a really deep-seated sense of duty. Knowing that their action holds the key to their village's survival probably provided this incredibly powerful motivation overriding personal fear.
Yeah, has to.
It's a testament to the strength of belief, really, and the willingness to put the collective good way above individual preservation.
The description of what happens next is incredibly visceral. This burning, twisting, this sensation of being inverted. It's not portrayed as a peaceful transition at all. It's a complete and violent metamorphosis. And then physically, Eli transforms, fingers become claws, powerful wings emerge. And that first sound isn't human, it's a roar. It's really in that moment that the elder's words about the heart truly seem to resonate, right? It's not just the end of a human life, but the birth of something entirely new. What's the significance of that physical transformation in relation to the idea of sacrifice?
Well, the physical transformation really symbolizes the complete shedding of Eli's human identity. The emergence of draconic features signifies their integration into the dragon world. That roar isn't just a sound, it's a declaration of this new existence.
Right.
It's as if the heart that was offered wasn't just a metaphor, but the very core of Eli's being, now literally reshaped into something that could bridge the gap between humans and dragons.
And as this transformation takes hold, Eli's human memories and identity begin to fade. The village becomes a distant speck, their name slips away. It's a profound loss, the erasure of a personal history. Yet, simultaneously, new senses and emotions emerge, this deep connection to the sky and wind, this overwhelming joy in flight. It's a trade, isn't it? Loss of the old self for the embrace of something new. But is this truly a sacrifice if it leads to such profound, albeit different, fulfillment?
That's a really fascinating question to chew on. From a purely human perspective, yeah, the loss of identity and memory would seem like the ultimate sacrifice.
Definitely.
However, Eli's experience suggests maybe a different perspective, one where embracing a new reality and new sensations can bring a completely different kind of fulfillment. It challenges our definition of self and what constitutes a meaningful existence. Perhaps the sacrifice lies more in the potential for the old life, the path not taken.
Hmm. The story concludes with Eli soaring as one of the Dragon Council. The personal human identity is gone, but there's this complete integration into dragon society where family is flight and territory is boundless. There's maybe a hint of distant curiosity about the world below, a fleeting echo of what was, but ultimately there's acceptance of this transformed existence. It's a permanent and irreversible change, isn't it? What does this ending suggest about the nature of peace and understanding between different cultures or, well, species?
It suggests that maybe true peace requires a level of profound understanding, maybe even integration, that goes beyond just mere coexistence. Eli's transformation represents this complete merging of two worlds, a sacrifice that leads to a fundamental shift in perspective and belonging. It definitely raises the question of how far individuals, or even entire societies, might need to go to truly bridge divides.
So, in these two really incredible flash fiction stories you shared, we see these very different paths of profound sacrifice. In Us, Sarah's selfless act, even though it means her complete erasure, saves, well, untold realities from destruction.
And in Heart of Sky, Eli's sacrifice leads to this extraordinary personal transformation, becoming something entirely new and forging a lasting peace between humans and dragons in this deeply unique way.
It really makes you think about the weight of such choices, you know? What could possibly drive someone to willingly erase themselves for the sake of the greater good, like Sarah did? And what kind of internal fortitude, what strength would it take to embrace a complete metamorphosis, to leave behind everything you've ever known, like Eli?
Yeah, these stories, they're brief, but they offer us these powerful lenses, right? To examine our understanding of duty, the far-reaching consequences of our actions, and the very essence of what defines us as individuals. Like what aspects of ourselves, our identities, are most essential? And under what circumstances might we be willing to surrender them for a cause greater than ourselves?
Those are some powerful questions to ponder for sure. We hope this pit stop into these two captivating flash fiction stories has sparked your imagination and maybe left you contemplating the unseen sacrifices that shape our world, both, in the realms of fiction and maybe even in the subtle fabric of our own realities.
And perhaps it encourages you to consider the potential for transformation that can arise even from acts of profound sacrifice, even if those transformations take forms we might never expect or fully understand.
Some truly fascinating food for thought there. Rate and follow you, Mother Truckers, for more captivating mysteries from the world of flash fiction.